it into a top 10 perennial program.
Underway in the exhibition from Fertitta Center. And a false start of sorts. It's the exhibition. Everyone sorting through it. And the starting five for Kelvin Sampson, it's Shed, L.J. Cryer, the Baylor transfer, Emmanuel Sharp, Juwan Roberts, Javier Francis. Cryer, the only newcomer in the starting five.
Can't wait to see L.J. Cryer fit in with Jamal Shed. And you talk about how are you going to replace Marcus Sasser? How are you going to replace him? And all of a sudden, almost seamlessly, or at least that's the expectation, L.J. Cryer steps in.
Immediately Shed inside for Javier Francis. Juwan Roberts with the offensive rebound plus the foul.
We talked about the Braves have two of their top three returning rebounders. That will be the key for them. If they're going to be competitive in this game, they're going to have to be able to keep Juwan Roberts, going to have to be able to keep Javier Francis, keep them off of the boards.
Juwan Roberts back to the free throw line from St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. Moved to Texas for his basketball career, settled in Killeen, went to Shoemaker High School. And Coach Sampson jokes about how long he's been around the program now.
Well, the American Athletic Conference most improved player last year. He does seem like he's been here a long time, doesn't he?
He has one more year of eligibility if he wants to come back next year. Same story for Jamal Shed. And a bucket on the first offensive possession for the Braves. Amari Miller, the sophomore from Greensboro.
Like, I don't know how long Pembroke's going to be in this game. But what a great start for Drew Richards' team. They came in, they ran their set, they ran a high ball, a high pick and roll, and got an easy basket.
L.J. Cryer will go to the free throw line. He's fouled by Elijah Cobb. This was one of the best high school prospects come out of Houston a few years ago. Originally recruited by Kelvin Sampson, won a national championship at Baylor, and now to help burnish his NBA prospects, he comes to Houston.
Coming out of Morton Ranch High School out in Katy, and young man to set a record for the greater Houston area, scoring record in a high school career. And he was number 5 in the state. He is a walking bucket getter. He can score at all three levels on the floor.
Set a Baylor NCAA tournament record with 30 points in a loss to Creighton last year. And everyone raves about his conditioning, his work ethic, how bought in he is to the Houston Cougar program. Nigel Verdier guarded by Jamal Shed. Here's Haskell. Lost the dribble. And a late whistle. Antonio Petty, Darren George, Alexander Thompson are referees today.
We got a veteran crew here for an exhibition game.
Just in time before the 5-second count, it's Haskell to the paint. Good adjustment and finish.
Yeah, nice job drawing the contact. He lowered that left shoulder into Juwan Roberts, created just enough separation to get that shot off.
Now this team, UNC Pembroke, in Division II, they've beaten a few Division I teams over the years in exhibitions and scrimmages. They fancy themselves as a team that would beat many bottom 50 Division I teams. They act like a Division I program. Nice turnaround and finish from Juwan Roberts.
We talked about him being the most improved player in the conference last year. He has become a legitimate scoring threat down with his back to the basket. Has the ability to turn over both shoulders and use either hand.
Good ball circulation. Straightaway three miss. Roberts pulls in the rebound after the miss from Cobb. The way UNC Pembroke likes to play, they like to get out in transition, but when they slow it down in the half court, they like to get the ball inside. As Roberts goes to line, and we asked the head coach, Drew Richards, will you play differently against Houston side? He said, no, we're going to try and play like we want to play in conference play and capitalize on this chance to play a large Houston team.
And they've been successful playing fast. They averaged about 76 points per game last year for the season. In conference, they were almost at 83 points per game. That's a really big number.
And Roberts back to the line. Fantastic offensive rebounder. One of the leaders now. Think about the veterans of the past that took him under his wing. Now he and guys like Jamal Shed are some of the elder statesmen on this current Houston team.
He had a lane violation, and he called it. It's like, no, Juwan, go ahead and shoot the ball. If you miss it, you get it back again. Juwan, realistic goal for Juwan Roberts is to average a double-double. And if you think that's not significant, I'm telling you, there will not be 4 guys in Division I basketball this season who average a double-double.
For him, would you say it's going to be more difficult to get 10 points per game or 10 boards per game?
I don't think either. I think he'll have 10 rebounds almost every time he's on the floor. And the team is committed this year to playing inside out, so I anticipate he's going to get more scoring opportunities.
Good offensive rebound and put back there for Amari Miller. This is a Division II team, but they don't like it. They don't look like it here in the early minutes inside Fertitta Center. Shed backs it out. Jawan Carr defending Shed. Long jump stop and hook from Francis.
Boy, that looked awful good with the left hand. Javier Francis, one of those kids that he's listed at 6'9", but he has incredible vertical lift off the floor and ridiculously long arms.
Jawan Carr passes out of the double team. They were making some very good decisions, Reed, in these offensive sets.
Yeah, they do not seem uncomfortable. And usually when teams go against Houston's defense, they seem rattled. They seem very uncomfortable running their sets. Not so for the Braves here early in this first half.
UNC Pembroke hanging around. Amari Miller, a larger role down the stretch last year, an undersized finishing forward. A very balanced team last year. They had 6 different players average 9 points or more on last year's team.
And then they had 4 guys that averaged right at 6 rebounds per game. So for Drew Richards, he's getting contribution on both ends of the floor from a lot of different players.
26-4 last year, 18-2 in the Conference Carolinas.
During that dead ball, checking into the game, freshman JoJo Tugler.
Went to Cy Falls High School, just northwest of Houston. 6'7", incredible wingspan. There he is setting the screen and rolling to the basket, wearing number 25.
When you say incredible wingspan, we're talking about 7 feet 6 inches of wingspan.
Jawan Carr. Verdier against Cryer. And Sharp comes away with the rebound.
Yeah, the first possession that Pembroke looked rattled and out of sorts.
Shed organizing. It's Roberts posting up. Good defensive board underneath Elijah Cobb. A lot of these players needed a second chance. They went junior college. They went to a 4-year program, getting a second chance of sorts at UNC Pembroke.
Good defense.
Pull up off the back iron from Carr.
Boy, really good on the ball defense by LJ Cryer.
Pull up 3 from Cryer.
Program. That's one of the things Drew Richards tells his kids is, I know what Division I looks like. I know how kids get treated. I know what's expected from them. And those are the same expectations that Pembroke has on these young kids.
Thrown inside, the turnaround for the Cal Poly Humboldt transfer. His first points off the bench is Josh Berenbaum.
Again, a very nice set, a clean look at the basket.
Cryer misses the 3. Oh, Tugler, his first points on the offensive putback.
You see those long arms, and he just keeps the ball alive, and then so quick off his feet with the second tip.
Good defense from Houston. Just watching Joseph Tugler, Reed, he is so engaged defensively. You watch his eyes scanning the court, looking for his position.
You talk to the coaching staff, and when they talk about JoJo Tugler, they say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That all the dots have been presented to him. Now he's got to connect the dots. He is going to have a really, really special career here in Houston.
There comes the double team from Tugler. Shot clock violation.
I mean, when you have a double team on a post and the guy coming over has a 7'6" wingspan, boy, if you're the post player, if you don't reverse pivot and create space, they are going to eat you alive. Here's a full court pressure by the Braves.
Ramon Walker Jr. in the game alongside Cryer and Shed, Terrence Arsenault, and Joseph Tugler.
Ramon Walker played about 10 games last year and then redshirted the rest of the year.
LJ Cryer, 3 to shoot. Arsenault off the window.
So Terrence Arsenault's playing the power forward right now. He's a young man that's very versatile. He'll play the 2, the 3, and the 4. But there's so much depth on this Houston team in the backcourt. I would anticipate we'll see a lot of Terrence Arsenault playing the 4.
Now Wilson comes in.
Wearing a different number than we all anticipated. Texas Tech transfer, started his career at Louisiana Lafayette, a 2-time transfer, and sat out last year as a redshirt.
Now 24 on the roster. Where's number 8 today? Cryer, a deep 2. Well, Malik Wilson, we expected him not to play today because he had the broken 5th metacarpal and had surgery, but he is back today. Pleasant surprise.
Also not playing today is Damian Dunn. The Temple transfer is out with an ankle, and from what we understand, he was lobbying this coaching staff really hard to get to play here this afternoon.
Ankle injuries, missed 2 weeks. Coaches have had to tell him no. That's a nice adjustment in the air. Javante Waverly, the junior from Henderson, North Carolina.
That's a breakdown by JoJo Tugler. He was defending the screener and did nothing. He didn't hedge, he didn't help, he didn't double. He just allowed the offensive player to rub his shoulder off of the screener. And he'll learn that is not the expectation defending an on-the-ball screen.
A tie-up. Braves basketball.
Now, when you ask Drew Richards how they like to play, he said, we like to play the way Houston plays. We like to play tough. We like to play hard-nosed. We double. We run when we can, and when we can't, we'll go inside out.
Well, we saw the ring presentation. They presented Kelvin Sampson with the ring before the game. Kelvin looked legitimately happy and honored to be given a champion.
Given annually to the best power forward in the country. If you would have told me that 2 years ago, I'd have said, you're out of your ever-loving mind. I mean, this young man I can't tell you how much respect I have for how hard he's worked. Braves come out of the timeout showing a 2-3 zone.
Sharp misses the 3, long rebound, pulled in by Javante Waverly. Now the Braves have hung around admirably. There's a little pull-up, a rebound on one end, a 10-footer on the other, out of Henderson, North Carolina, Javante Waverly. Now the Braves look ready to go today, down 5. They do not look intimidated inside Fertitta Center. Wilson kicks it out. Ramon Walker Jr. hits the 3.
if you're going to play an exhibition game, what you hope is that you play a team like the Braves. They're not intimidated, but also they will give you a lot of different looks. You'd love a team play man-to-man, play zone, show a full court press. All of that the Braves have done here in the first half.
Look at the effort from Ramon Walker Jr. He's called for a loose ball foul, but all-out effort on that loose ball out near the logo.
If you're a Houston fan and you don't remember what Ramon Walker brings to the floor, that's it right there. A young man goes after loose balls as hard as anybody I've seen. Already, he's only been in the game a couple of minutes. That's the third time that he's hit the floor going after a loose ball. Some kids just have a nose for the ball, and then some kids go get it. I describe Ramon Walker as one of those kids. He just goes and gets it.
Nigel Verdier inbounds.
Good play.
Jawan Carr working on Wilson. Cryer has the steal and then a reach-in foul by Bradley Haskell.
Yeah, really good execution on that sidelines out-of-bounds play by the Braves. It didn't end up in a basket, but I am so impressed with Drew Richards and the way his team has come in here, and they're competing here in the first half. Still in the 2-3 zone.
Plus 10 rebound margin last year. They shot 49% as a team. It's a high-efficiency offense for UNC Pembroke. LJ Cryer. Roberts took some contact. And there's the 6'11" and a Dakar, Senegal. Amadou Faye wears number 30, his first season with the Braves. Behind the back from Haskell. Josh Berenbaum. Carr had it rejected by Francis. Cryer from the corner.
I am really impressed with LJ Cryer. I mean, you talk about a seamless transition. He's defending, he's playing hard. He took a hard contact on transition and then immediately didn't stay there on the floor, relocated and spotted up out behind the three-point line.
He's a pure shooter. 43% from three in his 3 college seasons. Straightaway 3 from Malik Wilson. Haskell rebounds. Verdier spinning in the paint. Missed a good look. And then he grabs the rebound.
Yeah, took the ball out of Juwan Roberts' hands.
Good look and a miss from Jawan Carr.
The Cougars have struggled a little bit against this 2-3 zone. The Braves now go back to man-to-man.
Pull up from LJ Cryer. Nigel Verdier. Here's Haskell. Jawan Carr working off a screen. Berenbaum.
Listen, credit to Ramon Walker. He was off up high. There was a breakdown defensively. He came from the other side of the floor, closed out, took away the jump shot, forced the dribble, and still was able to recover to his man. That is excellent championship as a freshman. His sophomore year, he scored over 20 points 5 times. As a junior, started all 31 games, was Big 12 all-conference, set a Baylor scoring record. And he's an absolute stud. And what a compliment to Kelvin Sampson and his staff and their ability to develop players. You look at Quentin Grimes. You look at Marcus Sasser, number 339 high school recruit, ends up being a first-round draft pick. Well, if suddenly if you're Damian Dunn, if you're L.J. Cryer, if you're Malik Wilson, suddenly you're saying, hey, look, what that program did with Quentin Grimes, what they did with Marcus Sasser, they can do that with me too. And the transfer portal has become such a unique influence in college basketball. But you put L.J. Cryer together with Jamal Shead, I'm not sure there's a better backcourt in all of America. And then you add in Damian Dunn and Terrence Arsenault and Ramon Walker. I mean, there are 7 guards that can contribute this year in the backcourt.
A media day yesterday, a lot of questions about the Big 12 competition. But Coach Sampson talked a lot about the guard position and the 2-guard as Juwan Roberts spins and scores. He keeps bringing up Corey Davis. He says, LJ reminds me a little bit of Corey Davis. He's got a little Marcus in him as well.
Well, the best scorer I've ever seen here, well, not ever seen, but in the last 30 years was Rob Gray. And his name came up in that conversation. So when Kelvin Sampson, for a kid that has not yet played a minute of basketball, and he's saying Rob Gray, he's saying Corey Davis, I mean, you're talking about the ultimate respect.
Run out layup there for JoJo Tugler.
JoJo Tugler's already gotten 2 block shots. He's gotten 2 offensive rebounds. He has got an unbelievably high motor. This kid is going to be something else, I'm telling you.
And again, it's just our perception watching him, but so many freshmen come in with the raw athleticism, but it takes them weeks and months to adjust. He looks very engaged on the defensive end.
Connecting the dots is what the coaching staff, how they describe him.
Malik Wilson with the layup. And a timeout for UNC Pembroke.
A good timeout by Drew Richards. That's 2 in a row leak outs on fast breaks. And I don't know whether that was an adjustment during the last timeout, but boy, they've got players, the Cougars got players streaking down the court now and suddenly getting easy baskets.
Malik Wilson broke 5th metacarpal in his foot, had surgery, missed a month, and he's back today.
I thought he was supposed to be out another 2 weeks. I thought they initially said 6 weeks for Wilson.
Pleasant surprise that he's playing today. Damian Dunn, I think, wants to play. Might be saying, you're letting Wilson play, why not me? He is raring to go. But it's a phenomenally deep guard position. When a guy like Terrence Arsenault, who is projected to be a first-round pick in next year's NBA drafts, he's coming off the bench and fighting for playing time against multiple guys.
There's going to be a lot of times this year that the Cougars are running a 4-guard offense, and I wouldn't be surprised sometimes, depending on who the opponent, they may run a 5-guard offense, but Kelvin Sampson's got a lot of versatility, got a lot of players that can play different positions, interchangeable, and boy, this team is as loaded in the backcourt as any team I remember in a long, long time.
So that 5-guard lineup would have Terrence Arsenault at the 5?
Yeah.
Javante Waverly, and a reach-in foul there on Tugler.
I met JoJo Tugler last year at the Guy B. Lewis Award, given annually to the most outstanding Houston high school, greater Houston area high school basketball player. And what an outstanding young man. Coach is a longtime high school coach, very well respected, and just could not stop talking about the young man that JoJo Tugler is and how much people are going to love seeing him play.
Malik Wilson, good denial. Great job from Tugler denying the entry pass.
Kelvin, I looked over and he looked at JoJo and he was like saying, slow down, slow down. I don't know that his throttle's not stuck wide open. I don't know there's going to be a lot of slow down. Good spacing.
Cryer, good entry pass to Roberts. Tugler with the putback. He grabs the miss. Foul on Javante Waverly.
That's tremendous hustle. You know, I looked up to see how many rebounds he's got. He just got 3 in that possession. There's just some things you can't teach, and one of those things is a high motor. Tugler now has 4 offensive rebounds in only 8 minutes of playing time.
The 4-star recruit, JoJo Tugler.
I don't know who's handing out stars, but they may have missed one with that kid.
Terrence Arsenault returns. And then motor is the word. If you're going to have any criticism of Terrence Arsenault as a prospect, that's the word we hear from NBA scouts. That's the next step for him, is having that consistent motor.
I think for Terrence Arsenault, he spent time deferring to other players. I think this is a season where he suddenly realizes, I don't have to defer. I'm playing with a lot of talented players, but I can go ahead and assert myself on both ends of the floor.
Nice range. We saw the finish earlier. It's Josh Berenbaum. He's from Florida. Went to Cal Poly Humboldt, and now he's at UNC Pembroke. Reach and steal there from Javante Waverly against Jamal Shedd.
Good move.
Up and under, but a miss from Dallas Gardner, freshman from Charlotte.
There's that 4-guard offense we're talking about. 4 out, 1 in. So you got Tugler running around setting screens in the post, and then 4 players on the perimeter.
Cryer from deep.
Boy, those 2 look awful comfortable together. Shedd to Cryer.
Yesterday, Jamal Shedd said Cryer might be the best pure shooter he's ever played with.
Did he really?
He said at the top or near the top. Kind of hedged it a little bit with respect for his former teammates.
Somewhere in Detroit, somebody raised their eyebrows and said, wait a minute.
Jump ball possession error with Houston.
The best pure shooter he's played with. Wow.
Jamal Shedd speaking about LJ Cryer. It's exhibition game here in Houston. The Cougars up 15.
Drew Richards 2 years ago had maybe the best team they've ever had at Pembroke, and then last year with a lot of young players went back-to-back. Now all of those young players, we talked about it in the open, they're just juniors. This team is loaded with juniors and sophomores, and so I anticipate they will continue to have the same success they've had the last 2 years.
Shedd, no-look pass for Terrence Arsenault. Cougars come out of the timeout with Shedd, Arsenault, Sharp, Francis, and LJ Cryer. And there's a rejection from Jamal Shedd.
Boy, I thought that Javier Francis was going to get that one. Instead, it was Shedd. Yeah, the 4th 3-point field goal for LJ Cryer.
5 assists now for Jamal Shedd. Sharp with the putback. Emmanuel Sharp in the starting 5.
Last year on the American Athletic Conference all-freshman team, Emmanuel Sharp.
Good ball fake and finish there for Bradley Haskell. One of a few players on the team that had some maturity issues off the court, lost his previous number, wore number 3, had it taken away by Coach Richards. Now he's back in number 0. As Arsenault hits it, but unique way from a coach to instill discipline.
Isn't that interesting how many times Drew Richards told you, well, we took his number away from him. We took his number away from him. It's a reward system. And then if you show maturity, then they say, okay, you can have your number back or you can choose your new number. In 30 years of college basketball, I've never heard of that, where you use that as a motivation. A beautiful block by Javier Francis, and then the drop off to LJ Cryer. And look, I know I've already said it 2 or 3 times, but you can just close your eyes and you picture Marcus Sasser out there. That same drop-off pass where Shed over-penetrates and then pitches back to a trailing shooter. And boy, those two just look so good together here for the exhibition this early in the year.
Long corner 3 off the mark from Jamarvius Jones, but a foul after the fact.
This is now the 3rd different lineup we've seen from Houston, and all 3 of them have 4 guards and 1 post player. We saw it earlier with JoJo Tugler, then it was Javier Francis, then it was with Juwan, and now it's back to Javier Francis.
Something you see maybe more in the NBA than at the college level in this day and age. Now Francis back to the free throw line. Now for him last year, Reed, a lot of opportunity in non-conference, less used in American Athletic Conference play and the NCAA tournaments.
If you're looking for a key to the Cougars this year, I really think Francis may be it. If he can improve, if he can make a Juwan Roberts-esque level of step up this year, boy, I tell you what, then suddenly the Cougars are really got a shot to be competing with anybody in the country.
Berenbaum. Haskell. Short on the 3. Sharp rebounds. Pull up from Emmanuel Sharp.
Sharpshooter, Emmanuel Sharp. Boy, he walks in and he plays and competes almost every second that he's on the floor.
Berenbaum misses the 3. Sharp grabs the rebound. LJ Cryer.
Good pass.
Francis fouled underneath. Had a chance to talk with Emmanuel Sharp Media Day yesterday about his dad and his great career playing in Israel and what that was like. And he said he still coaches them. He welcomes the feedback game by game. And of course, his mom in the Basketball Hall of Fame. And I said, who's the best shooter in my family? And he said, might be my mom.
Yeah, I heard that last year. You don't get a shot at mom till you go through dad, right? And the family champ on the driveway, mom in a game of horse.
Now Francis makes the first free throw.
I got a secret for you. I've got 2 sons, and I'm not sure either one ever beat their mom in a game of horse either.
Francis makes both.
His free throws look so good. The Cougars now perfect 9 for 9 from the free throw line, but Javier Francis's release at the free throw line looks completely different than last year.
Poked away, Arsenault out to Malik Wilson.
Nice rotation on the backside by Terrence Arsenault.
Stepped out on the sideline. Now Francis, by the way, last year, he was a 59% free throw shooter.
He looks very confident, very comfortable. All the Cougars.
The trainers have held him out. 9 days should be enough time, you would think.
Pembroke back in a 2-3 zone.
Wilson kicks it out. Arsenault. The first half ends 52 first half points. The Cougars end on a 22-2 run.
Jamal Shed and his teammates really blew it open the last 4 minutes here in the first half. They started getting out and running contributions from across the floor and up and down the bench. And look, well, how about when Kelvin Sampson and Kellen and Quantis and Hollis Price go back to Lloyd Noble in Norman, Oklahoma, in the emotion that's going to be involved in that game. And Stillwater used to be one of the most special places you could go play at Gallagher-Iba, and then there's no environment anywhere like going into fall. Going into Allen Fieldhouse is really a unique opportunity.
And he was asked what will define the season, and Kelvin Sampson said one word: growth. How will we grow game to game, week to week? And he talked about even when you lose, you can grow. And he talked about the Temple loss when they were #1 at home as a big growth moment last season.
That Temple loss led by Damian Dunn, sitting over on his bench now in that game. Damian Dunn had 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, and was a large reason for the only loss suffered at home in the American Athletic Conference by Kelvin Sampson's team.
Officials talking through something here early in the second half. Antonio Petty, Darren George, and Alexander Thompson. So Reed, for this coaching staff led by Kelvin Sampson, what do you think they're hoping to see and accomplish in this exhibition?
I think they've seen it. You know, it's kind of, you hear about football coaches talk about it. You get to a point to where you need to hit somebody with a different colored jersey on. And these guys have been going at it. If you've ever been to Kelvin Sampson's practice, I tell people it's like a feeding frenzy. It's like chumming the waters of shark-infested waters. I mean, they go after each other like you cannot even imagine. So the opportunity to turn that intensity onto somebody else, but then also substantively. You know, talked about at halftime that they've been very efficient. 10 assists on 18 made field goals, not what you expect on an exhibition game at the end of October.
Shed call for the foul. Francis went for the steal. And a backcourt violation against UNC Pembroke there.
Yeah, terrific rotation by Juwan Roberts. Javier Francis went for the steal, and he knows that he's got teammates that have his back, and Roberts came diagonal from across the lane to defend the post player.
It's the same starting 5 as the first half for Houston. Shed, Cryer, Sharp, Francis, and Juwan Roberts. Alley-oop there. Sharp feeds Francis. And there's a steal in the backcourt for Jamal Shed, who rises for the flush.
I'll tell you what I like best about that alley-oop from Sharp. I love the fact that when he got to the paint, he jump stopped. Both feet hit the ground, forced the defense to react to him. Hopefully we'll get that replay.
A missed turnaround from Nigel Verdier. Here comes LJ Cryer.
Good
Cryer
step through.
Up and under.
That is a beautiful step through by LJ Cryer.
Elijah Cobb throws it inside, and now Emmanuel Sharp clutching his ribs as he limps back towards midcourt.
Yeah, he took a shot not on the alley-oop, but on that last closeout. Someone closed out on him, and I think got him right in the ribs.
He goes to the bench, replaced by Ramon Walker Jr. Some big hustle plays in that first half from Ramon Walker Jr., diving for multiple loose balls.
But look, if you're Drew Richards, you go in, you're down, whatever, 38 at halftime. You've got to come out and start all over again and say, okay, look, that was a scrimmage. You know, we went one half scrimmage basketball. Now we're going to play another half. And you try to tell your guys, hey, look, wipe it clean, 0-0. But they have not done that. They've come out and they look much more rattled than they were the first 10 minutes of this game.
Shed for Cryer.
Too much standing.
Francis initiated the contact.
If you throw it to the post and then you stand and you stare at him, you're forcing him. You're saying, hey, go force a shot. If you get a clean shot, great. But if you don't, we're all just standing and staring at you. You can still do something on the perimeter. You can relocate. You can run an exchange. You can screen down. You have to have some movement where people aren't just standing there going, well, what you gonna do? There's that alley-oop we were talking about. Look at the jump stop by Emmanuel Sharp. That's something that Villanova, Jay Wright at Villanova, emphasized so much, that his guards, when you get to the paint, stop. Stop with 2 feet, stop with balance. And boy, I love seeing the Cougars do that.
Francis made 2 of 2 in the first half. He misses both of those attempts. We saw a lot of 4-guard setups in that first half. The second half begins with the 2 post players, Juwan Roberts and Javier Francis.
Well, that is great defense by Juwan Roberts. He's guarding Juwan Carr, the point guard for Pembroke.
Rowan Walker Jr. pulls in the rebound. Here comes Jamal Shedd. Ramon Walker Jr. with the offensive rebound, missed the putback.
It's maybe the first shot Jamal Shedd's taken in this game.
And he did not attempt a shot in the first half, and there's a made 3 for Bradley Haskell. He wore number 3, wasn't doing things correctly off the court, academics, discipline, and those sort of things. They took that number away to motivate him, changed to 23. Now he's back to his 3rd number, wearing number 0. No look pass, Cryer for Roberts.
Really nice pass. So I don't want to bust on Bradley Haskell too much. He had a really nice 3-point celebration after he hit that shot. My question to you is, how close does the score have to be before you get to celebrate a basket?
I think single digits.
I don't know where the cutoff is, but I'm pretty sure it's way before you get to 28.
Contested inside, no look from Amari Miller. JoJo Tugler set to return alongside Terrence Arsenault. LJ Cryer played the most minutes in that first half for Houston. 8 minutes. And there's the flush from Francis. Beg your pardon. Cryer played 19 minutes in the first half, hardly left the court. Juwan Carr against Jamal Shedd. Nice reverse.
Yeah, very nice basket by Elijah Cobb.
Out to Ramon Walker Jr. 3 Cougs set to check in. Arsenault, Tugler, and Malik Wilson. Juwan Roberts through some contact. Cobb commits the foul. Under 16-minute media timeout. Houston in control in this exhibition.
And if you want to identify one recruit, the face of the program that turned it around is that young man, Galen Robinson.
Ooh. Inbounds play, alley-oop for JoJo Tugler.
Now the Cougars have been dominating on the offensive glass. They have 11 offensive rebounds out of 19 misses. That's over 55% offensive rebounding efficiency. And Tugler, with not very many minutes on the floor, 4 offensive rebounds. Francis and Roberts each with 3.
And Tugler on the floor right in front of us.
A terrific baseline out of bounds and a good screen by LJ Cryer. Anytime you can take your best shooter and turn him into a screener, well, that is going to be an effective play.
Galen Robinson went to Westbury Christian High School right here in town, and that was another part of the rebuild, was getting the local kids, the best players in Houston, to stay in Houston.
Everybody has always said and recognized the fact that if you can get the 2 to 3 best players in the city of Houston, you can play for a national championship.
Malik Wilson for Tugler. Missed it with the right hand. And there's a nice touch from the left wing, Javante Waverly. Tugler off the window.
Yeah, really nice up fake. And we bragged on Emmanuel Sharp earlier in the game about his jump stop. That time it's Ramon Walker. Got to the paint, jump stop, made the defense respond.
Jamarius Jones. Double team leads to a steal for Cryer. A good hustle all the way back in transition from Javante Waverly.
If you're Drew Richards, we talked about the fact that you say, hey, let's forget about the score coming out of the locker room. Let's start all over again. The first 2 minutes, the Braves did not look very good. Bradley Haskell and his team seemed rattled, but they have settled down. And so if you're starting fresh right now, the Cougars are only up 14-12 here in the second half.
Cryer, quick release. Arsenault with the rebound. Nice jump stop from Arsenault, but he left it short. Javante Waverly for UNC Pembroke. Malik Wilson lost his footing. Free throws coming. As Jawan Carr exploded to the paint. Reed, we saw Galen Robinson. You called him the OG. He's considered that. He was the person that led the way. And we think about what Houston did while this building was being renovated. And Coach Sampson has talked about the success at TSU's home gym during those years when this was being built helped make them an elite team once this building reopened.
It's interesting. One of the things I referenced the Rothstein podcast where Kelvin was being interviewed, and one of the things he described this program as his next job. That he accepted one job, but then built the program into the next job. And part of that is this beautiful Fertitta Center, but it's also the commitment from the administration, from the president to Chris Pesman, the athletic director. And Kelvin Sampson really forced the issue. Jamal Shedd hurt his knee.
And Shedd's limping back after the Cryer make.
But what he has built, and he takes tremendous pride, and really not enough credit goes to his staff. He's had Quantas and Hollis and Kellen with him every step of the way. Tremendous stability in the coaching staff. But make no mistake about it, they built this program brick by brick by brick.
Shedd out to Cryer.
Good ball movement.
Arsenault keeps the dribble. Soft pass. Intercepted there by Carr. A good closeout, but a three-pointer there for Javante Waverly. Had to wait his turn to get playing time. Took some big shots in the NCAA tournament last year for UNC Pembroke. It does not look like JoJo Tugler's first college game today.
No, it certainly does not. He has been very, very impressive here this afternoon.
It's the exhibition inside Fertitta Center. Houston
available if you had a question or rules interpretation. I can't tell you how many times I'd get an email from him saying, hey, you got this one wrong. You got this rule wrong. But the fact that he cared enough and he wanted us to know and he wanted everyone to understand. And he was only the head of officials, I think, for less than 10 years, maybe 6, 7 years, but had a huge impact on the game. Has been replaced now, Chris Rastatter, and the officials are very excited about the new direction and the new leadership, but a nice tribute to John Adams.
Offensive foul. This is something that we might see less of. That's not really a classic block charge, but a good segue into one of the new rule interpretations. Mixed reviews, but I think the referees generally are liking the new rule.
And how many block charges have we had here today?
None.
None. Oh, maybe one. But the new rule is you used to be in legal guarding position. You could be in legal guarding position on an airborne player. So a guy's already left the ground. As long as your feet are set, you could draw a charge. No longer. Now you have to be set before the plant foot hits the ground for the airborne player. They looked at a review of maybe they took a random sample of games, the officials, the rules committee. They looked at 100 plays. 97 of them would have been interpreted as a block under this new rule. It is going to have a significant impact this season.
And there is Emmanuel Sharp going to the floor. And I think no rule is perfect, no change is perfect. I think the hard part now for the referees is enforcing the Euro step to avoid the contact.
Yeah, because you get set in legal guarding position, and if the plant foot hadn't hit the ground yet, the plant foot could be 3 feet away from where you set up. And it'll be interesting. Teams, Houston, they draw a ton of charges during the season. It will be interesting to see if defensively, from a schematic standpoint, whether coaches change their philosophy.
It's Shed, Cryer, Sharp, Roberts, and Francis. Starting 5 for Houston back on the floor here midway through the second half.
Shot clock down to 4.
And it's thrown out to Haskell, who draws contact for the layup.
Yeah, really nice job using his body. We saw Brantley Haskell do that in the first half, where he jumps in and he creates just enough separation to finish the play.
More zone defense here for UNC Pembroke. Francis in the paint. Roberts with the offensive board.
Interesting, off the offensive board, they shift into a man.
And Sharp hits the 3.
Boy, that was a tough shot from long distance by Emmanuel Sharp.
Coached by his dad, Derek, at Bishop McLaughlin Catholic School in Tampa. Suffered a really bad leg injury as a senior. Now in his second season with the Cougars.
Really good defense. I mean, really, really good defense. Help, recovery, double team, close out, on the ball defense. That was a nice possession defensively for the Cougars.
Under 10 minutes left in this exhibition, Houston and UNC Pembroke.
NBA players, but just a tremendous experience. And basketball-wise, allows you to have 10 practices before the season starts, which is invaluable. Then you can go compete. But then also the experience, I mean, of getting to go to Australia and experience all that there is. And they very much did all the tourist things that you would expect, and went to Australian rules football game. They went to the amphitheater, they snorkeling, and just a great experience for these young men.
Out of the timeout, offensive rebound from Haskell. Barenbaum off the window. He's had a nice day. Every moment he's had the ball in his hand, something positive for Josh Barenbaum. Reach and foul there on Emmanuel Sharp.
We keep talking about, how the Braves played in the first half. Could they erase it and start all over again in the second half? And the second half right now, the score is, I believe, 21-20. The Braves have been very good. They've been shooting a little over 70% from the floor here in the second half. In the first half, they shot less than 15% from the three-point line. Much better here in the second half. I think Drew Richards has got to be very pleased with the way his kids have continued to compete in this game.
The previous foreign tours under Coach Sampson and his staff to Italy and China. Good feed as Shed finds JoJo Tugler.
The other thing that coaches are allowed to do, or programs are allowed to do, is you can have 2 exhibition games. Lots of coaches have gone away from exhibition games in exchange for scrimmages. They have, they say they're secret. I don't know how secret they are, but Cougars scrimmaged Ole Miss, Chris Beard's team, and Kelvin Sampson and Chris Beard used to do it when Chris was at Texas. They would go and play in San Antonio or somewhere. But you have the ability to play in a couple of exhibition games. And it's unfortunate because a lot of AAU programs ruin the ability to do exhibition games, turned into corruption, and you pay some AAU coach money for a game fee, and it's just a way to pay off. And so a lot of people have gotten away from the exhibition games. But years ago, it used to be Olympic teams, like we talked about the Australian national team. I remember the Russian Olympic team used to come and do a tour, and tremendous experience. You talk about an exhibition game, you're playing against grown men. And boy, the learning that you could take from that. And so this is the first exhibition game I remember in a while.
Well, it's a few years in the making. You talk about those scrimmages. As Coach Richards told us over the phone this week, they were supposed to play this game last year in an exhibition, but Houston got some good opportunities in the scrimmage, so they pushed it back a year. But they wanted to get it done with Kelvin Sampson's alma mater. Media timeout, under 8 minutes left in this exhibition. 35-point second half lead for Houston.
Kelvin's wife Karen is currently on the Board of Regents, has been since 2018 at University of North Carolina, Pembroke. Ooh, good block.
Kelvin also played for his dad, John, at Pembroke High School.
Ned, a legendary high school coach in North Carolina. Well, I tell you what, the Braves have really competed here in the second half.
Up and under finish from Nigel Verdier, the junior from Charlotte.
The Braves go from here to an exhibition game against Duke. What, frying pan to the fire?
Verdier, like Haskell, lost his number. He wore number 1, didn't do the things right off the court, lost it, wore number 13, matured, did all the things the coaches asked. Now he's back wearing number 1. Here's LJ Cryer from the free throw line for Houston.
Boy, he has certainly looked, maybe exceeded my expectations, and I had pretty lofty expectations for him coming into the game.
Rejection from JoJo Tugler. 7'6" wingspan on show for JoJo Tugler. Arsenault taps the rebound to Tugler. Tugler draws the foul, barreling through it, and you see the baseball picture, left-handed, class of '98 at UNC Pembroke, both basketball and baseball.
Every time I look at that picture, I think of Roberto Clemente. I don't know why.
I see it too.
Kind of looks like a Pirates uniform.
Absolutely.
And I think, man, I wonder if Kelvin could hit the curveball.
Had huge praise for Dusty Baker after his retirement announced this week. Great run with the Houston Astros, culminating his Hall of Fame career with a championship last year. He knows how to use his body,
yeah,
Reed.
He does.
He just engaged, threw that shoulder in and draws the foul.
He plays like he's a big, thick, strong kid, and he's really wiry, but boy, he does a terrific job, not only of drawing contact, but still giving himself a chance to finish the play. We've seen 2 or 3 plays where he bumped and separated and made the shot. That time didn't make it, but well, I'm really impressed with Bradley Haskell's ability to draw fouls.
Didn't play a lot his freshman year, had to bide his time. He also has a son, Bradley Jr., born last year, and Coach Richards told us it's really helped Bradley Haskell Sr. mature quite a bit over the last year.
Leading scorer returning for the Braves this year, scored 13 points per game, was a first-team all-conference player last year in the Conference Carolinas.
Now we asked Coach Richards, how do you convince a player with Division I opportunities to play Division II? He said, we tell them we're going to take care of you, and we certainly do that. He played Division I. Ben Miller's the old coach, coached under Roy Williams at Kansas for 10 years. And he said, we treat this program like a Division I program, so that's our sell to recruits.
He has built a powerhouse in Division II basketball. This is a very good team, very competitive, and I anticipate at the end of the year they're going to be right in the thick of things.
Tugler back to the free throw line. Cy Falls High School, ranked number 8 in the state of Texas in the ESPN 100. Chose Houston over Texas, TCU, SMU, K-State, and Tulsa.
Texas Class 6A Super Elite MVP in the state of Texas. What were we talking about? Getting the best players out of the city of Houston that you can compete at a really high level. Yeah, add Ramon Walker to that, and even though Terrence Arsenault's out of Beaumont, you could extend that to the greater Houston area. Well, there's just loads of talent.
Wilson read it well. He runs out and is fouled on his way up. Again, just what impresses me about Tugler is his just engagement, his awareness, his vocalness. We're watching him talk so much on defense. Fourth foul on Elijah Cobb. Blake Wilson makes the first. There's Drew Richards. Largest Division II in North or South Carolina is UNC Pembroke. Led their league in attendance 2 years in a row. Over 8,000 students. Tugler with the block. Malik Wilson will run the fast break for Houston. Ramon Walker Jr. Tugler coast to grab the rebound. The block on one end, the offensive board on the other.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, that's got to be JoJo's fourth block shot in this game, maybe fifth. He is high energy, no doubt about it. Well, he makes a block on one end, comes down, gets the offensive rebound on a run out.
This is very impressive. We don't want to read too much into an exhibition read, but he's getting extended minutes in his four-guard lineup where he is the lone post player.
Well, somebody's going to have to step up and help Javier Francis and Juwan Roberts. And whether it's JoJo Tugler, whether it's Jacob McFarland, you know, Cedric Lott will get a chance. But, boy, I tell you what, early on, JoJo Tugler could not be more impressive.
It's out to Malik Wilson.
That was a tip out by JoJo.
There he sets the screen. Terrence Arsenault misses from the corner. Boy, that motor just revving. He's setting a screen. He's rolling to the basket. He's battling for a loose ball.
He plays like his hair's on fire, right? He checks in the game. He jams the accelerator down to the floorboard and just is all over the place.
We saw in the first half, Coach Sampson had a teaching moment at midcourt. He listened, and then he patted Coach Sampson on the back after, like, thanking Coach for the feedback.
Good job, Coach.
I agree, Coach.
Here comes Cedric Lott. I'm anxious to see him get some minutes. 6'11" and an absolute specimen. Now, this kid is a freshman, and he is an enormous physical specimen.
Tugler to the free throw line. Lott about to check in with 4:25 left in the second half.
Now, if you're wondering how comfortable LJ Cryer feels, his career high in three-point field goal attempts over his 3 years at Baylor is 12. He did that last year against Norfolk State. Already has 11 attempts here in his first exhibition game with the Houston Cougars. Has made 5 of them. Will finish the game with 21 points, a couple of assists, and a couple of steals.
Tugler to the bench, replaced by Cedric Lott. Lott number 2 in the scarlet and whites. Knocks it away. It's a foul underneath. Ryan Elvin preparing to come in. A fan favorite. Now a senior. 4th year for Ryan Elvin. How time flies.
Graduated in the spring, now working on his master's degree over in the business school. Also graduating, Juwan Roberts graduated in the summer and is also working on his master's this year.
Elijah Cobb to the free throw line.
All right, 4:05. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. The over-under on Ryan Elvin getting up a three-pointer.
I would say over.
Ooh, I'm taking the under.
Okay. He feeds off the crowd, no doubt, but he wants to play in the system. He's a disciplined guard coming off the bench, trying to stay within the team game plan.
And I say it every single time for the last 8 years he's been on the team. The kid can really shoot the basketball.
Lost his father shortly before last season. Battled through that, had his teammates rally around him. Arsenault. Lot with his first offensive rebound and dunk. Thrown away.
Pretty good first basket by Cedric Lott. I mean, he is a load. If you didn't know he was...
Elvin passes. Arsenault from the corner.
I think I lost my over-under. Elvin checked in at the 4:05 mark and scratching his head saying, why haven't I gotten a shot yet?
You know where he did sort of go off late in a game was at Temple last year. Remember his somewhat homecoming? He has ties to Pennsylvania. Yeah. He did that with the big crowd coming on, but we've seen him multiple times here. Find the right play, pass out of it to an open man as we get a good look at Cedric Lott. He was born in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. His family moved to Canada where he spent a year before moving to Henderson, Nevada, then San Diego. He went to Balboa School there, so well-traveled for the Lott family. And he joined last year at the winter break. Before the spring semester, he's practiced with this team for a long time, similar to what Emmanuel Sharp did his senior year when he suffered the leg injury.
Well, got here early in December and had 6-month running start.
Ramon Walker Jr. peeks at the shot clock. He's in the paint. Lott taps it to Walker. Malik Wilson from the corner.
Ooh, that's over and back.
Wilson stepped on the midcourt line quite clearly. Jacob McFarland preparing to come in.
Just not very good court awareness, a careless mistake by Malik Wilson.
Jacob McFarland enters. He's 6'11" from Moreno Valley near Riverside, California. Went to Rancho Verde High School. Known more for his defensive abilities at this point in his career.
He is a jumping jack. He is 6'11". He's got long arms. When he got here, he weighed a $185. He's up to about 205 now, but maybe the finest strength coach in all of America works for the Houston Cougars, Alan Bishop. And when Alan gets done with this young man, he is going to be an absolute beast. Jacob McFarland's got the skill set, some of those things you just can't teach.
Ranked number
6'11" and bouncy.
At 93 in the ESPN 100. Elvin for three.
Ask me if I'm surprised, and I will tell you not even a little bit. He has a beautiful release. It's a quick release. He's got a really good high basketball IQ and is beloved not only by the fans but by his teammates.
Future coach, I think that's
no doubt.
If he wants to go that route, and it seems like that's a good possibility, he'll have a recommendation from Kelvin Sampson.
Well, he may have a spot on Kelvin's staff. He's in business school right now, but you look at Kelvin's bench right now and you see Kellen and Quanis and Hollis, and Ryan Elman would fit in really nicely along with KC Beard.
Zy McLean out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, redshirt freshman at the free throw line. McFarland battling for it. Braves basketball.
Now, Kelvin could have asked for that to be reviewed on an out-of-bounds play last 2 minutes. And if the officials don't do it automatically, the new rule this year, though, is you lose a timeout if you ask for that review and you lose it.
Lott, tough rebounds. Ramon Walker Jr. passes out of the double team. It's Lott. Elvin with 3 on the shot clock. .29 seconds left. Reed, your takeaways from the exhibition.
It was an overmatched opponent. I'm very impressed with Pembroke, the Braves. They came in, they competed. Really impressed with the way they competed in the second half. And, you know, they gave the Cougars a lot of different looks. They've got some kids that are competitive and played well. I would think this is a successful exhibition game. I think if you ask Kelvin, aside from the emotional and the personal feelings of his ties and his family's ties to Pembroke, I would say this was a successful game.
And I think JoJo Tugler, one of the standouts for me for the Houston Cougars.
He really stood out the entire game, but then also so impressed with how comfortable Jamal Shedd and LJ Cryer were in their first game together.
Music by Niju Nirmal.
चल के बाद बंदे के
भोला समय पे से भमिया तोहार सिर्फ संडे के बुझो अब करे हमारे इंतजार पिसन संडे के सुन
घूमी